Yeah, man. This is it's always a total pleasure to see you. You sound great, and I cannot wait to share what you do with our audience right now, man. What's coming up first today?
I appreciate that. This is called "On Listening to Robert Johnson." It is dedicated to the memory of the great Robert Johnson. It was a bleak summer night and I was walking, no particular place to go, and I would walk into circle, come right back to the place I was at before. It was hot and it had been raining, humid even at 2 a.m. The streets were wet and the grass was soaking, no dry place to lay my head. Deep blue fell from the night sky, bleached to gray in the overhead lamp. All the shadows were 3 dimensions, like you could crawl right inside of them and camp. I heard music down the avenue, cut right through the traffic sound, harsh and sweet all at the same time, and I hurried to follow it down. I stopped by a gray house near the alley, found my way to the sound. I could hear the music clearly, and I lay myself out on the ground. And I was taken to meet the devil, and I shivered in the pouring rain. I took a ride in a fast car with a woman named Betty May. I woke up to the blues, it was blues walking like a man. I was a ballroom clown, I was stumbling, stones all in my path. I carried my baby's suitcase to the waiting train. Well, the blues came down just like rain, just like rain, just like rain, just like rain. Thanks.
Man, dude, thank you again so much for doing this. It's such a pleasure to hear you play. It feels like you're a very direct connection to a bygone era that I'm nostalgic for, even though I wasn't there in the 1920s. And it just seems like it's the truth when it comes out of you. I mean, I know, obviously you weren't there either, but there's something that feels very direct when you tell it.
Thank you. Well, that means a lot to me. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it seems like the Robert Johnson dedication, this makes a lot of sense to talk about guitar stuff right now. I heard you and Juan geeking out a little bit about these guitars and fixing stuff and teching things and breaking cables and figuring out ground loop stuff and all that, but I didn't get the full scoop on those guitars. Can you tell us a little bit more about what each of these instruments are and what they mean to you?
Absolutely. They're both made by the Mule Resonator Company. They're located in Saginaw, Michigan. I just came through there to see those guys, and it's a small but growing shop of mighty talented artisans that create these instruments. And the one I was just playing is a stainless steel bodied tricone. This one is called the Mavis. It's more electric than acoustic, I guess, but it's
could you show it off to that camera a little bit? I'm cut to that one. Yeah, a little lower. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, this is a carved back maple, torrefied maple instrument, and I love what they do. I love the ethic. I love everything about that shop, and the guitars they make fit my hand just exactly the way that I want a guitar to. That kind of spoiled me for guitars. It's hard to just pick up anything now. I bring these to wherever I go. Do
you relate to the entire company? Is there a particular guy that you have at Mule that is your guy and knows your style and knows how to build for you?
Well, yeah, the guy that started it, Matt, he and I have kind of bonded over the years, and he's the one that just he's been a massive help. He was a big help to me over the pandemic. He sent this to me to try out, and I will not give it back now. So no, they've been just very helpful and kind to me.
Nice, man. Well, dude, thank you very much for doing this, and I am excited to hear more of your music, man. There's another one coming up next. What's second today?
Sure. This is called The Last of the Better Days Ahead. Falcon that you sold in your 20s, then regretted it was gone, 'cause you thought it contained some answers to a life that you'd never bothered to question or even take a good close look at. And it broke your heart to see how it had been so important, from the feeling of the steering wheel to the rubber on the road. Now it's grown to unrealistic proportions in your mind. Well, now you're in your 50s. Why can't you forget how the chrome bumpers shined in the sun? And if you could just go back, even for a minute, you could forget how you don't even know what it was you lost. Why you always feel so empty, in spite of all you have. Were those feelings you remember even real? And were they honestly about some junky old Falcon or any other thing that you could own? 'Cause now it's all so stale, and you feel so very old, like you've taken all your chances and tossed them all aside for some stupid piece of metal, like shiny bits of trash that line the stolen nest of a greedy neighborhood crow. So you drive back to your hometown to visit with your past. Nothing looks the same anymore. You can see all that you squandered while you were shining, all that chrome you were handed, all you needed without cost. But you were too blind to see it, and you took it all for granted, and now you want to complain. Tell me just what it was that you lost. Well, now you start to panic, and your gas is running low, and you need to find some meaning before you're stranded on the road. And when the engine finally dies near a soybean field at dusk, you just sit and watch the sunset turn the entire sky to rust. Turn the entire sky to rust. Turn the entire sky to rust. Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Man, dude, it's a total pleasure to see you singing along off camera that the internet can't see, but every single word is well known to this man right here. He's singing along, and it's just a total pleasure to hear these tunes. And so I know that song probably, and a lot of the tunes on the album were inspired by this idea that the space in your brain dedicated to your imagination is the same space that forms memories.
Right.
Meaning that. And so my curiosity for you is that an optimistic thought because you're stoked and happy to have this collective memory and just be able to reflect on your life and be happy with those memories? Or is it a pessimistic thought because the more shit that's in your memory leaves less space for imagination? Do you worry that you're running out of shit because there's just too much memory and not enough space left for the imagination?
I hadn't really thought of it that way, but I find it to be comforting. It feels optimistic. I find it really interesting, I guess. It's such an interesting kind of idea that I'm not bothered by it or worried by it. It'd be like if the line is so far down the road that it turns out that imagination and memory are the same thing, that would be really interesting, But I don't know that. I don't have the circuitry to really get that far down the road. I'm not a philosopher, but it's just really interesting to me, and I find it to be a comforting thought actually that there's some like the shared memories that I have with my mother, for example, aren't the same. They're colored by our imaginations, and we sit and talk about that. You remember it this way, I remember it this way. And then it's interesting to see how much of my imagination kind of got involved with that memory and how much of hers, because, I shared this with her and she thought it was extremely interesting. And we got into this, and she's 93, she will go down that rabbit hole all day long because she remembers everything. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. Well, man, dude, thank you for sharing. I'm glad that I asked that. I love that response. And yeah, it does seem like, maybe we bring a philosopher in here next time. And it seems like Ray Kurzweil would have, I don't think he's with us any longer, but it sounds like a futurist philosopher, singularity sort of thought where imagination and memory cross. And are they perhaps the exact same thing? I don't know. Right. We'll know eventually, but not right now.
Right.
But we're working at it, and we're chipping away together.
Yeah. We'll all figure it out, but we'll be, dead by then.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly, man. Well, we are alive right now, and I feel very much alive. And man, there is we just done 2, right? There's more music coming up right now.
I can play another one.
Yeah, man, I would love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is called 817 Oakland Avenue. Can you remember what it's like when all of the world was filled with light? Now do you have that in your sight? Spread it around. Spread it around. Spread it around, dude. Have you felt joy in your days? Even though you've had your share of pain, or just hoarding all that joy again? Spread it around. Spread it around. Spread it around, do. Has your belly ever been full? And have you fed your family too? Does your table have just a little more room? Spread it around. Spread it around. Spread it around, do. Are your blankets soft and warm? Does the roof above your head keep out the storm? Can you save someone else from being cold? Spread it around. Spread it around. Spread it around, do. It's true about love. It'll die if it's covered up. It's gotta be all given away, so we can all feel the heat of its ray. Can you remember what it's like when all of the world was filled with light? Now do you have that in your sight? Spread it around. Spread it around. Spread it around, do. Spread it around. Thank you.
Right. Charlie, thank you so much. It's delightful, as always, to see you and to hear your music. Thank you for sharing it with us. Thank you, Kelsey and Back Bar Productions, for putting this whole thing together, and to Justin at Assemble, who put all these nice things behind you. Right now, he's got a shop in Northampton. Charlie, this has been an absolute pleasure. Please have a wonderful festival set in 2 hours from now or so, and drive safely. I know you've got a massive road trip ahead of you, so
going
please
to
drive
Duluth
safely.
after the show, but
Yeah.
But saying thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. Anytime, literally anytime. We would record you every day if we could. So we'll see you when we see you next, but in a year, 9 months, whatever.
Perfect.
All right, man.
Thank you.